Stev0.
That's the word, gang.
Hey man, we back at it. Hey, we still doing the Atlantic Division. We already
Yep.
took care of the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics. Today we discuss the Knicks, the Nets, and the Raptors right after the intro.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
All right, basketball fans, welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for news and basketball analysis. It's your boy Big Bro in the building. We got Steve-O Speaks. Hey man,
That's
it
the
was real
word.
fun about these Sixers and Celtics, but the rest of the division got something to say. This is one of those divisions that pretty much everybody made the playoffs. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was the play-in with the Toronto Raptors or the playoffs with the Knicks and the Nets. And we'll start with the New York Knicks, the Tom Thibodeau-led New York Knicks. You think he's gonna be able to get much out of these guys this season?
Um, I mean, he always squeezes out extra couple wins that we never expect. Like I said, I feel like he like the Mike Tomlin of basketball. Like no matter what team you put in front of him, somehow he gonna turn them into a winning team in some form or fashion. But think the whole New York City is sick of just being good enough and they actually want to go for a championship. And I don't know if they have the roster to because, like I said, I feel like they're in a situation where they're waiting for Julius or they're waiting for RJ to become a superstar. And I would say Julius is a star in his own right, but like you said, you need that extra kick to get you over the hump with certain things. So I feel like they're waiting with that. But also Jalen Brunson being there, like it's almost like not to say they're in a limbo, but if I would say they're in a good limbo, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like they're still competitive. They're still like somebody you can't take lightly. They can beat anybody. Like they're good enough that they can beat almost anybody. So to be honest, I kind of feel like they'll finish around the same as they did last year,
Last year
guarding.
they had 47 wins last
Yeah,
year. The over under this year is about 43 and a half. I'm definitely gonna take the over. I feel
I'm
like
taking over.
Thibodeau teams typically outperform their expectations, regardless of who's out there, whether it's with the Bulls, the Minnesota Timberwolves, or with this current New York Knicks squad. You got, as you informed me the other day, the Maple Mamba, RJ Barrett out there looking to have a breakout year. He's still only 23 years old. So and he had a good experience in the World Tournament. Jalen Brunson is definitely their go to guy. They got the Villanova trio with Dante DiVincenzo as well as Josh Hart, who came in and became improved to be a defensive stalwart for the squad. So
Hmm.
that's going to be interesting to see these guys out there for an entire season, especially Dante after winning a championship with the Golden State Warriors. Now you still got
And Brunson for playing in the USA. You know they always
exactly.
tend to make a big jump after that.
True, true. Now it's really going to be on the young fellas. We already know what Julius Randle brings, and honestly, I feel like he had a good bounce back from last season, in which he kind of didn't have a strong follow up to his All NBA season. Last season, he went out there and played 70 plus games, still gave you 25 and 10. He just couldn't push through injuries in the playoffs to kind of carry the
Uh-huh.
squad past the Miami Heat in the second round. So I'm interested to see how these young guys look out there, man. And then they did get a rookie as well. I believe Jalen Martin is their rookie this year. So we're going to see what that looks like for the Tom Thibodeau squad. I got them at least 45 wins this season. So it'll be fun to see the New York Knicks out there. Hopefully they can stay
I'm about the
healthy.
same. I'm about the same. About 45, 44 wins. For sure. Yeah, and that's a key thing that you got to bring up when it comes to this team is health, because like you said, Julius was playing with a injury as well as Jalen Brunson. They both was dealing with ankle injuries. They
Hmm.
played through it and it showed. And yeah, you got to stay healthy. This team is one of the big things is about healthy. They also lost quickly towards the end of the year, I believe. So
Hmm.
yeah, health is a big thing when it comes to this team. yeah, I'm kind of excited to see. Cause it's crazy saying I'm a Bulls fan, excited to see what they gonna do,
Man,
but I kind of
we
am.
basketball fans, man. You know how it
True.
go. It's a little different from football and basketball. But all right,
Yeah.
so moving right along to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, last year, these last few seasons, actually, they've been a team about change. Like they had a strong team with all those young players they traded over to Cleveland in order to get James Harden over there to join the Irving and Kevin Durant situation, the former trio. And honestly, had they not traded for James Harden, they probably would have a championship by now with that young core that they had with what's the Afro dude Allen? Is that
Jared Allen,
Jared Allen and then Karis LeVert, uh,
Russell, D'Angelo Russell,
D'Angelo Russell. Like they definitely had a nice little young core over there.
Kenny Atkinson, their coach. I
Yep.
liked it. I really liked it, that team.
Yep.
Liked it. Is that a word? That's not a word.
It's a word in Chicago
Right.
classrooms when you're growing up.
Right. I really like that team. I was kind of upset that they broke it up
Me too.
for for what they brought in. I'm like, you. That's a high risk reward for what you bringing in, and they got close. Can't say they didn't get close, but
As close as you can get within
yeah,
KD's foot,
a toenail.
toenail
Right.
on the line, and that was with the injured, injured Kyrie Irving and the injured
Hmm.
James Harden. So it is what it is. And then they, last season was just even worse. They when they got Ben Simmons, but that didn't work out with Kyrie being sent to Dallas and KD going over to Phoenix. Now you have a super duper young team with pretty much everybody being
Hmm.
at least 30 and under on the squad, and that includes Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, who are like the de facto leaders of this team. But as far as Mikal Bridges goes, is where this team is going to go. Mikal Bridges is going to be the unquestioned
Hmm.
leader of this squad in terms of being expected to go out and do what he did last season, which was put up more 30-point games than he has in his career for this young squad. So they're going to play through him. And hopefully Ben Simmons has the resurgence that he claims that he is prepared to exhibit to the NBA world. He's been talking a lot this offseason, and one of the things that he's mentioning is that he's ready finally to play basketball again. And he better be, because this fool is making $37,893,408 this season. You better go out there and earn that check, young fella.
Yeah, especially all the woofing you doing. You've been saying it been a mental thing this whole time, then it turned into a back thing. To me, I don't think he was just trying to get his money, which he ended up doing. But yeah, he's probably the key to whatever this team does. He's the key to whatever this team. This team gonna be bad. It's probably gonna be most likely because of him. This team gonna be real good. It's gonna be most likely because of him. He's probably the glue foundation of anything that happens with this team is gonna be around him. Because, like I said, they moved almost heaven and earth to get you over here. I won't say they moved heaven and earth. It was almost like we'll take them.
Yep.
But
They was just
yeah,
so eager to get rid of James Harden. They did it. He's
yeah.
like, whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, the talent is still there. I don't care what nobody said. We've seen some good. I don't care if you're a basketball fan, you like minus. Even though we wanted him to work on that shot, he was still fun to watch.
Mhm.
Um,
Especially on the defensive end, and then
oh
just being
yeah,
a strong facilitator, career-wise, still averaging, about 8 rebounds, 8 assists a game.
uh
Like, that's not nothing to sneeze at. So we're looking forward to seeing what this young squad has to do. But like I said, man, what you think about Mikal Bridges? You think he'll have a good follow-up season, for
just
what
like just like with Jalen Brunson, when they go over to any type of Olympic play, when they're around certain type of talent. Now it was like a lesser amount of talent, but it was still good talent. You was around Anthony Edwards, you was around Jaron Jackson, you was around Bobby Portis, the Tyrese Halliburton's. So like I expect you to improve your game. Like I said, he's probably the most durable guy in the league. I think. Has he missed a game his whole career yet? I don't
Nah,
think he
he
has.
he been doing his thing. Now you
Yeah,
also got Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas,
I
Royce
love
O'Neal
both of the cams.
Royce O'Neal, Lonnie Walker the fourth, and Dennis Smith Jr. in reserve for these guys.
That's some sneaky good signings, bro.
Mhm,
Like that
mhm.
Lonnie Walker and that Dennis Smith is two to help your guard play. Lonnie could play the both. He could be a two guard. Honestly, both. But you really put Dennis at that point, and it was a reserve spot. Um, you can also especially like I said, with Ben Simmons being there, there's so many things you can be so versatile with things. Like if you want him to run point, but still keep Lonnie and them out there, that could work because you could put him at the 4 at times or the 5. And it's just a lot of things this team can do. They're super long. They still got Nicholas Claxton,
Hmm.
players like that. So as much as people are not talking much about them, this is probably not a team that's going to be extremely good. But I won't be surprised if they found their way near the playoffs
Oh yeah, or in the playoffs. In
or
the
in it.
playoffs, near it, play-in situation, they definitely gonna try to hoop. Now they gotta look out for the Indianas, the Orlandos, and so on and so forth.
Even Detroit.
Um, yeah, even Detroit. So the Eastern Conference is gonna be interesting to watch in terms of youth, and we still don't know what's gonna happen with James Harden. So like that right there, in and of itself, not James, yeah, James Harden. Like if James Harden is gonna be out of there, or if Damian Lillard is coming to one of these squads, who knows what's gonna
And I'm
happen.
glad you brought that up because I didn't tell you right before you came over here. I did a video about how because this goes into the next team we talking about, which is the Toronto Raptors. Um, they're showing a little signs of interest into Dame. And I'm like, well, if they come up, they have a nice amount of pieces where they could throw at them to accept that trade. And like you said, he doesn't have any clauses on his contract, so he can't yay or nay anything.
Hmm.
So
It's gonna be
I,
hard to get Dame Lillard without giving up Siakam, and then I don't know what that look like.
see, I thought it would be hard for them to keep Scotty and who else I say it was they got another young guy like forget who it was, but Pascal, I already told you, like Atlanta was looking at him. A lot of teams are looking at Pascal. So I have a feeling Toronto is trying their hardest not to lose their main guy. Because like I said, once they lose that main guy, it's almost downhill for when it comes to them. But yeah, let's get into the Toronto
Yes.
Raptors.
So speaking of the Raptors, man, last season, they made it to the play-in tournament. They finished last in the division, but the division itself was kind of strong.
Hmm.
They took up 5 of the 10 spots in the Eastern Conference playoff play-in situation. Now they're still kind of leaning on Pascal Siakam. But they did draft Grady Dick for shooting. They definitely needed some shooting.
For
But Grady
sure.
Dick is a sneaky good all-around player.
That was the
But
guy I was saying. It'd be hard to keep Grady Dick.
yeah, yeah. And then you got Will Barton here now, Scotty Barnes coming off of not necessarily a down season. We talked about this before. He did average 15, like what, 15, 6, and 7 or something
15,
like that.
66, something like that. Yeah.
16, 15, 7, and 5. So it's
Okay.
not too bad of a season for his second
No.
season. But he's going to have to definitely take a leap forward because they lost Fred Van Vliet. They don't really have your a point guard unless they're planning on starting Dennis Schroeder. They typically let
That was the
Pascal.
guy. That was the guy I remember. It would be hard to keep Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent Jr. So you typically have Siakam playing that point forward type position
Mhm.
anyway, but it's gonna be interesting to see how these guys do without basically their engine in Fred Van Vliet. Even though he
Yeah.
didn't have like the best of seasons last year, he was able to secure a bag in going over there to Houston. So that Houston team is gonna be interesting. It did.
Yeah, and they definitely got a lot of guards around there. Like they got one of our summer league fantastic that I was hoping that was gonna be a Bull Javon Freeman Liberty. So we're gonna see what
Yeah.
they do over there. They just got a lot of guards, a lot of people they could do over there. So that this is one of those teams I said earlier that you gotta look at the trade deadline when it comes to them.
Hmm.
Because it's a lot of options they can go. They almost in a similar space is where they don't know what direction to really go in. They could go young, they can go older. Um, even they might even want to question some of their staff, their GMs and stuff like that. Because, like I said, they've been in ever since they won the championship. It's been kind of after that. So yeah,
I mean,
I,
you lose a talent like the Claw in Kawhi Leonard, and then and try to bounce back. And now they got a new coach up there too, so we're gonna see what happens with the Toronto Raptors. Now,
Monty,
you say it again.
I was like Monty Williams.
Oh yeah, yeah. Monty Williams up there taking care of business. So last year they finished 41-41. To this year's overall over under is 38 and a half wins, and I'm gonna go with the under. I just feel like this team is a team in limbo. They're gonna be sellers. I don't see them competing at the level that they competed at last year. They lost some scoring punch with Fred VanVleet, and even though he didn't shoot the ball well, he still was a threat enough for teams
Hmm.
to kind of scheme for him defensively. And now they basically just gonna surround Pascal Siakam and dare other people to beat him. So we're just gonna see what happens out there. But I see them being about 35, 36 wins this season.
Yeah, I kind of got them staying around the same, maybe dropping a little bit from like maybe 38 wins. Like the points you made, I don't know if they'll be able to compete in the same capacity as they once did. Fred VanVleet caused a lot of disturbance when it comes to, even if he wasn't making a shot, he was still a threat. You still had to pay attention to him. So that left Gary time to eat. That left time where they didn't always have to be able. They can always double team Pascal. They couldn't always. He left OG Wananobi open for them corner shots, which he improved on. So yeah, I feel like this team would definitely take a hit. They need to address that point guard situation as fast as possible, which is why I think that what I said is a lot of articles saying that they're interested in Dame, but it's going to be very difficult to get that to happen. But yeah, I don't. I'm kind of probably leaning more to under as well. I don't think they're going to be the same team if they somehow turn around. Hey, kudos to them.
All right, there you guys have it, NBA Central family. We appreciate all the love and support. It's your boy Big Bro over here with Stev0 Speaks. Don't forget to follow the rest of the Chi-Town sports family from Chicago Bulls, Bears, Sky, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox, all the way down to the Cognac Boys, the Shy Bull podcast with C-Dub and Bobby. We got Hayes on the squad as well. We doing our thing, man. We appreciate all the love. So keep on following, man. Pay attention to the rest of the guys. They're going to be doing their reviews, previews of the rest of the Eastern Conference before we switch over to the Western Conference. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Like, comment, share. Let us know what y'all think about the Atlantic Division. If you missed part one, go ahead, scroll up, click that button, and let us know what you think about Philly and Boston as well. We're going to holler at y'all next time. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.